the new Eagle McMahon Prism Proton Rebirth Envy. Probably one of the hottest releases of the year, and this disc represents a huge shift in the power dynamic across manufacturers and the sponsorship market. So some have even speculated that this could be the biggest signing in the history of MVP, bigger than James Conrad, even bigger than Simon Lizotte. This disc is the first tangible product, the first thing we have in our hands as representation of that signing. See, it's the combination of Eagle's ridiculous talent, exciting style of play, huge bombs, matched with his knowledge of the game, his passion for discs and mold, his salesmanship that could potentially make this the biggest signing MVP has ever had. In almost every conceivable way, it makes sense that the Envy would be Eagle McMahon's first signature disc and mold. The Envy is an absolute all-time disc. It is a classic. It's considered one of the best, if not the industry standard, in the driving putter, the throwing putter category. And of course, it's responsible for one of MVP's, if not disc golf's, most famous shot of all time. You match the stable to overstable flight of this disc with the talent, the arm speed, the style of Eagle McMahon's play, and well, could you think of a better match? Let's see how this new Prism Proton compares stability-wise to the other runs of Envy that I own. We have 4 other discs out here. We have a straight-up Neutron, we have a Cosmic Electron Soft, we have a Fission, and of course we have an Eclipse. So a lot of airspace in front of us on this hole. It's like 380, but very downhill to the pin. So we're just gonna try and air these out, hit them all on that little hyzer stock release that I have, straight, and see how the stabilities compare. Starting with the new Eagle Prism Proton. Yeah, I mean, stock hyzer out of the hand, doesn't flip up a ton, just kind of holds that hyzer and glides all the way down. Exactly what we expected, a little more on the stable to overstable side. Let's compare it now to my Neutron. This has been my go-to Envy for a long time. It's pretty beat up, been in the bag, got the ace with it. Let's see how it compares stability-wise. So right away, I think the release was very similar. You see this Neutron Envy, it just doesn't get moving left as quickly. It doesn't totally flip up either, but just holds that light hyzer before getting over a lot longer, which is exactly what I expected. Now this has been in my bag. Cosmic Electron Soft is my kind of flippier Envy, my straighter Envy. Yeah, I mean, right away, you see it get up to flat, even drift just ever so slightly right, and then come back at the end, which is exactly what I want from that disc and why I love that baseline Cosmic Electron plastic. I get the Envy hand feel, but a much straighter flight. Now Fission, haven't messed around with the Fission plastic a ton, but let's see what we got. I mean, to my eyes, that looks very similar to maybe say that stock Neutron disc that I threw. Say once again, less overstable actually than the new Eagle release. Last but not least, we have an Eclipse. Shout out to Bonanza for the shattered Van stamp. Okay, see now we're seeing a little more of that overstability. I would say that Eclipse flying more similar to something like the new Plasm Proton Eagle disc. So what do I ultimately think about this disc, this version of the Envy? Well, it's by far the most overstable Envy that I've ever thrown. That Eclipse plastic is close, but I think this Prism Proton takes it. And for me, that makes it valuable because it flies different than other molds that I already love the hand feel of. The other Envy is already in my bag. For that reason, I could see this having a spot in my bag and competing with some of my straighter zones. Now, as far as the impact of this move on the overall consumer market and the balance of power between manufacturers, I think this was an absolute masterstroke by MVP and a just case study in how good marketing can really elevate and propel a company from average to middle tier all the way up to one of the big boys who are really vying for dominance in the consumer market. So to answer the question that I know I will ultimately get asked the most, and probably the reason why many of you are watching this video in the first place, should you buy this disc? Is it worth the money? Now, in a lot of ways, it's a really wonderful overstable run of ENVE. It looks awesome. So if you're an Eagle McMahon fan and you have the money, sure, why not? But is it gonna revolutionize your game, shave strokes off your score, impact your ability to throw putters well? No, absolutely not. Is it a flight you can't get out of any other ENVE on the market? No, absolutely not. So ultimately, it's a value proposition that you have to decide on. And we as consumers have to be careful that we don't overly get sucked into the hype. I have a Sky God and a Cloudbreaker sitting on my shelf that absolutely never get thrown, that are an example of ways in which I have gotten sucked into that hype at times, spent money on things I didn't need and don't use. Kind of regret, to be honest. All that being said, do I love the ENVE? Yes, I do. Do I love this ENVE? Absolutely. Every time I pull it out of the bag to throw it, I'm gonna look at it, I'm gonna admire it, I'm gonna enjoy it. It'll put a little smile on my face. If it will do the same for you and that's worth your 20 bucks, then enjoy your new ENVE. And if not, let's just enjoy the journey together. My name's Andrew Wood. Appreciate you guys hanging out. As always, the journey is the destination. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Oh, and by the way, huge shout out to Disc Golf Deals USA for sending this out to me. Link to them down in the description. You can pick one up. Use the code down there to get 10% off. That's it.